Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and talk about one of our favorite topics today, which is going to be the death code in the Middle East. And by death code, I mean exactly the state of Israel. Because let's be quite honest with ourselves, these people are a bunch of lunatic sociopaths who do not give a fuck about human lives, and they have shown us that over and over again. And they will do anything and everything possible to pretty much destroy your life, both in their area, I would say. Because look what's going on in Syria, look what's going on in Lebanon, look what's going on in Iran, look what happened in Afghanistan, Iraq, and now the new target after Iran is under attack currently by the United States, both US and the state of Israel. Turkey is now on the chopping block of that. But let's be quite honest, these people have become so arrogant and prideful that they think that they're unstoppable. Even with that, right? You can start to see it manifesting because recently Donald Trump decided to pretty much post a picture of him portraying himself to be Jesus. Now, he had an excuse for that. Okay? He had an excuse for that, and his excuse is that, oh, I thought I was portraying myself as a doctor. First of all, we're not stupid, you orange fuck. No, like, we're not stupid. We can clearly see through your lies. We can see that what you were trying to do is pretty much, well, make yourself look out to be like Jesus. Okay? And look at this right here. No sane human being in their mind will look at this and be like, this right here is pretty much Donald Trump saying that he is a doctor, and and if you read anything else, then you're reading too much into it. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you say that, you are stupid. You are somebody. Well, it didn't even come to anybody's mind until he mentioned it. Let's just go ahead and see what he has to say about this. And yeah.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
My God. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's most dangerous about this right here? Is that people actually believe them. That's like politicians lying to us is something in which, let's be honest. Let me Politicians lying to us is something in which is something that we all know. Okay? It's the fact that people believed him when he said that he was supposed to be a doctor. Now, all I did was just type Jesus. These pictures here are very old. All right? These pictures are very old. But one thing you'll start to notice is the similarity in what Jesus is wearing. Okay? Now, if you take that and then you compare it to this right here, what the fuck would you believe this guy when he said that he wasn't trying to portray himself as Jesus? I mean, let's be quite honest with ourselves. What the heck? Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and move on because, like, me having to elaborate on this and how much of a lie he is, it's like, there's no point of me doing that because we all saw what was happening. And this brings me back to my point. I got a little bit off track here. It brings me back to the point of how they have caused so much corruption on earth and nobody has done anything about it, that they think that they're unstoppable. They think they can do whatever the hell they feel like doing. And this is very, very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And so much so that this is pretty much what people think of the state of Israel now. All right?
Powinna wyglądać dokładnie tak.
Dziękuję.
And hear the applause that's going on.
Pan poseł Maciej Konieczny, Koło Razem.
Holy crap, Polish PM, I can't say this word, held up the Israeli flag with the swastika in the middle of the Star of David. Israel is a new Third Reich. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the whole entire world is sick and tired of the state of Israel. The whole entire world is pretty much seeing through their lies. The whole entire world has now come to unanimously agree that the mustache man is now Benjamin Netanyahu. And I couldn't have agreed more. I couldn't have agreed more. All right. Now we don't really know much about World War II, and the full story of what's happening over there. Rumor is that over 6 million Jews were unalived. That's what they're claiming. Am I saying that is 100% true? Let's be quite honest with ourselves. These people have committed a full-blown genocide right before our own eyes, and yet, even though we're seeing it in 4K, they're claiming that it's not a genocide. Now, they're claiming that 6 million Jews died back in World War II, and we didn't see that. So if they're able to lie to us after seeing something in 4K, what makes you think that they would tell you the truth of what happened back in 1940? I'm just going to leave it right there. So yeah, the world is pretty much, sick and tired of their bullshit. All right, including the American people. And this little, I'm not gonna lie to you, this little animation right here pretty much depicts how people all over the world are seeing this whole war that's been going on right now, that has been declared by both the United States and Israel. They're not trying to call it a war, and the reason is simply because Congress has not agreed to it. So Trump has admitted himself that, him calling it a war is a crime. And so therefore he's just gonna call it whatever besides a war. So pretty much this is the Arab countries right here, and Iran is pretty much, the blockade that is in the way is stopping Israel from completely destroying them. There you go. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and it couldn't have been, so far from the truth. All right. And the reason why I say this is because the reason why Israel has not really targeted Saudi Arabia and UAE is because these countries, the weapons that they have, in order for them to use these weapons, they have to get permission from the United States. The fighter jets, they need codes to be able to fly these things. All right. And despite Iran being the victim in this situation, yet these Arab countries had the audacity to pretty much condemn Iran for what they're doing, for pretty much defending themselves. And so what I'm saying is, look, you may hate a government, you may hate Iran. Cool. You have your opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion. But we can all see that the blowing up of innocent kids, the blowing up of school just to hit one guy was unjust, was completely unjust. And yes, with the advanced technology that we have today, you are seriously telling me that the United States didn't know about it? And then on top of that, I was listening to a podcast from Tucker Carlson. He was in denial. Tucker Carlson didn't want to believe that the United States is pretty much capable of attacking a school full of young, innocent girls. Well, truth be told, America still funded the state of Israel despite the genocide that they have been committing for over 75 plus years. Now, you may say, well, America is not responsible for that. I'll say they are. They are. And the reason why I say this is, let me ask you this question. Let's say you have a friend. This friend is addicted to drugs. This friend doesn't have money. You, on the other hand, have money. And you are continuously supplying your friend with money, knowing full well that he's going to take that money and go buy drugs and inject himself with it. Are you at fault? Of course you are. Because as soon as you stop giving your friend money, he's no longer going to have access to those drugs. As soon as America stopped giving Israel money, they will no longer have the capability to commit a full-blown genocide. We can all agree on that. So it's not far-fetched that what happened in Iran on day one of the attack, what happened was something in which I would say for a fact that this was deliberate. I mean, we are living in a technological advanced civilization today. There's no way, and I'm saying this with the almost confident, that the attack that happened was deliberate. They knew this was a school. They knew it was filled of young girls, and they knew that what's his name, Khamenei was there. I'm saying this. Now, do I have something to prove it? No, I don't. But what I do have is the fact that we have technology. What I do have is all it takes for me to see what's going on. And this is all I have. This is all I got to do. Now, it's not going to be the best picture. Let me see. Just like that. I can already see the surrounding area in Iran. Now, I won't be able to navigate it, but let me zoom out a little bit real quick. All right, let's go to Tehran, like the capital, the middle city, you know, somewhere a little bit more. This is it. That's all it took for me to see, oh, there's a building here. Oh, there's civilians here. Oh, there's, you know, a little store here with cars and so on and so forth. It's probably not a good idea for me to attack this area because these civilians, you know, we don't know exactly how many civilians is there currently. But if I drop a Tomahawk missile on this fucking building right here, people driving by will get affected. I'm able to do that while sitting here. What kind of technology does the US government have? And on top of that, they have spies. Let's be honest. They got spies in Iran. They have Mossad agent in Iran. With all this information, with all the access to all this information, you telling me that they didn't have the full knowledge that this was a school? It just doesn't make sense. The story is not adding up. So yeah, I just pretty much wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. I kind of lost the topic. I forgot exactly what I was going on about. But the point is, this whole situation is, and by this situation, I mean, the war that's going on right now is just going to continuously keep escalating. Naftali Bennett, the former PM, the former prime minister of the state of Israel, is now coming out saying that Turkey is the new target. Turkey is the new, I guess you can say, Hamas or whatever the hell they want to go ahead and label Turkey as. And this is a full-blown warning to Turkey that, hey, yes, you're part of NATO. Guess what? That doesn't mean you're out of our reach. All we got to do is just label you as an enemy, and we will send America to come and attack you. One thing that you guys need to understand is that Israel is a state. It's a state that has been created off of war. And what I mean by that is Israel cannot exist unless there's war. That's it. They have to continuously keep fighting. That's what keeps them united, is by shedding the blood of, I guess you can say, their enemies. Why do you think every single time there's about to be some kind of peace agreement, Benjamin Netanyahu decides to send a Tomahawk missile or a bomb or whatever it is that's in his arsenal toward that direction? How many Palestinians have been killed when they try to go to like the UAE or somewhere else to go and talk about two-state solution or try to come to a peaceful agreement? How many of them have been killed? And even recently, Iran making its way to Pakistan, trying to come up with an agreement, trying to see if they can come up with some sort of, you know, agreement to stop the war that's going on right now. Guess what? Israel was trying to take them out. Obviously, it didn't happen. And so when the president of Iran was flying back, he had to be escorted by, I think, like 9 or 10 fighter jets. And it wasn't because they were protecting him from America. No, it was because of these freaking genocidal fucks over here. That's why. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you made it this far. If I got off topic, I really apologize for that. It's just, there's like the whole situation that's going on here. There's just so much to talk about that it's hard to stay on topic. Extremely difficult to stay on topic. But I just wanted to go ahead and just rant on about the situation that's going on over here, so that way I can just keep you guys on your toes and so on and so forth. But all in all, one thing that I do have to say is things are not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. With that being said, I'll catch you guys up later. Assalamu alaikum.